And welcome to another exciting episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Tim D-O-double-G. And tonight I'm joined by my co-host, Agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And we have a very special guest with us this week. You might remember him from a previous episode of the Comic Book Chronicles where he was joined by his creative partner, Omar Spahi. We have Siike Donnelly from OSSM Comics.
Welcome in.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us this week.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Don't thank me, thank Jesus.
That's right.
And Siike is here to give us a little preview of his new comic book that he has coming out later in the summer called MONOMYTH.
MONOMYTH. It's Siike, actually. Siike, hide and go Siike.
Ah, that's
right.
how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
I was thinking, wait, I've heard this, and I've heard his name before, and I'm pretty sure it's not Siike.
Yeah, no, I get it though.
The eyes keep throwing me off.
No, just think the Nintendo Wii. That's what I tell everyone.
Yeah.
Two eyes make an E sound. MONOMYTH. So I'm very excited. Can't wait to talk about it.
Nothing like canned applause.
Yeah.
Like a 80s sitcom.
That's right.
So quick housekeeping to get out the way. Make sure to go to the website, thekliqnation.com, where you can find previous episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles, comic book reviews. Follow the Twitter account at thekliqnation. Like the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/thekliqnation. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/thekliqnation. Also subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Just search for The KLIQ Nation. Follow the hashtag Comic Book Chronicles on Twitter. Tweets. If you use the hashtag, we'll make sure to read your tweets on the show.
Or answer any questions.
That's right. Join in the conversation. If you have any feedback you want to have read on a future show, send that on over to thekliqnation@gmail.com. And a reminder that we record live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you happen to be home one night and you want to watch live with us, just go on over to thekliqnation.com and the post will be at the top of the page for you. And with that, let's learn a little bit more about MONOMYTH from Siike. Give us the nice elevator pitch.
All right. Well, the quick elevator pitch is that it's Gilgamesh meets Final Fantasy, and it's a really big epic storyline. It's 3 issues, but it's the equivalent of maybe 4.5 comics in 3 issues. You get 30 pages of art and story per comic at the $3.99 price point. So we want to do, we have to do as an indie company, we have to try to do different things to stand out more. When our book is next to Superman or Batman or Spider-Man, it's really hard to rival against that. It's easy to ignore a little guy. So with MONOMYTH, we really wanted to put, a different foot forward than we did with Daniel, which was our first book, and we met some really good success with that. A lot of people seem to really like it. Sold pretty well for us. So we wanted to grow off that and bring something new to the table, but also bring in a different art style. So we had Terry, who did Daniel, who did a really good job kind of creating a noir-esque black and white story. And this time we wanted to go, okay, let's go full comic book this time. Like that time we went we kept to the indie style. This time let's write an indie story, but give you like the Marvel DC look to it. And so that's where Eric Minakowski comes in, and that's why, that's where I'm very lucky to see just some of the best art I personally have ever seen in an indie comic, and I'm really honored that it's in the book that I happen to write as well.
We were speaking off the air. I'm very impressed about this art.
How long has this been?
Yeah, no, I'm yeah, I can't say enough good things about Eric. He's everyone I show the book to, like Nerdist.com was really awesome and showing a 4-page preview a couple weeks ago, and then a lot of other sites have been picking it up this week and showing those same 4 pages, and then you're also going to get the first 6 pages are going to come through another website that I can't talk about, a very mainstream news source who is going to help us get the word out there again before FOC at the end of the week. So eventually, by the end of this month, everyone out there who wants to know about this book, you can read the first 10 pages for free, based, just going to Nerdist.com and this other site, which we'll post about as soon as that goes up.
There you go. I'm sorry to cut you off, Tim. What were you saying?
I was just asking how long has the idea for MONOMYTH been sort of percolating in your brain?
I think, like all of my ideas, they stemmed from in a roundabout way when I woke up in the hospital 4 years ago, and I think ever since then these ideas have been there. I've just finally remembered what they were. So when I finally put MONOMYTH to paper, it was last summer in 2013, and it was originally a different artist was attached. It was a good friend of mine who created Soulstar with me, which is my first comic book that I did. We funded through Kickstarter. Paul Barnes, and originally the book kind of started with him and I, but he was kind of wanting to do something more Lord of the Rings ish, and I wanted to do something very biblical. So then eventually that's when I started looking, like we broke apart, and I told him I wanted to work on something different with him in the future, but I wanted to pursue MONOMYTH now, and that's when I found Eric, and I met him at Stan Lee's Kamikaze last year. So I'd say I started writing it around probably like April or May of last year, like literally a year ago today, and then finally, and then it had a couple different names. I named it MONOMYTH like around end of May, early June, and then I met Eric in November, and then since November we've been working on it nonstop.
Wow.
Yeah, comics take a long time.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by the creative process.
Yeah.
Just a very quick question:
Sure.
What inspired the title, the name of the title?
Well, to be honest with you, the actual definition of the title is what inspired the title. I realized as I was writing it that this was a monomyth. This is by the James Joyce definition, by the Joseph Campbell interpretation. This is the monomyth. It follows the wheel, the circle of telling a story of a character going from the world of the known into the unknown and then back, and having like the call to adventure and having the guidance and the helper, and then getting to meeting with the goddess. These are all things that are talked about often on one of my favorite podcasts called Harmontown, that's hosted by Dan Harmon, and he talks about Joseph Campbell a lot. And so I realized, maybe subconsciously from listening to his podcast, that those ideas were seeping into my head. So when I wrote out Monomyth, I realized, oh, holy cow, this follows the 11 steps of a monomyth. And so me not being a very creative person, I just said, hey, let's just call a spade here. Just name it what it is.
That's cool.
Plus it sounds epic. Like the monomyth just sounds.
It absolutely does. I was going to say, as myself and all the other listeners and viewers of the Comic Book Chronicles go and type monomyth into Google.
Yeah.
and follow up on your quickie definition, and I see the Wikipedia page pop up. I'm like, oh, so this is what I missed when I didn't take any of those lit classes in college. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. This is like basic literature. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a very big fan of classic stuff. I love. Gilgamesh is one of my all-time favorite stories. Stories of Hercules, stories in the Bible. I'm actually my favorite biblical character, if you want to call him that, is Judas. I'm very interested in the story of Judas and the role he had to play. And I'm also was very interested in Enoch. So Enoch is I just went ahead and made the main character of Monomyth because I thought Enoch has a very interesting story in the Bible. He's the only person, according to the Bible, that has never died. Just one day God came down and grabbed him, put his arm around his shoulder and said, let's take a walk, and they walked off together, and Enoch was never seen again. And so I thought, wow, that's really cool. So this guy is special to some degree. He has a certain role that God wanted him to fulfill elsewhere, but beyond our plane of existence. So I thought, what would be if this is an alternate reality where Lucifer doesn't fall from heaven, but Michael does? If everything is reversed, then God would never come and walk and take Enoch for that walk. So then why wouldn't he? What kind of man is Enoch in this alternate universe? And that's where you get this kid who kind of looks like Aqualad, and he's kind of a rebellious jerk, and he doesn't follow the rules, and he finds peace to be very boring, and that was kind of the inspiration for that character in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
Oh yes, and I've read I'm Catholic, so I've read that version of the Bible probably like 4 times throughout my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not very, I won't say the word spiritual, and I won't say the word religious, but I definitely have a connection. Like I feel like I talk to God. Although I feel like if I'm in a Shyamalan movie, the twist ending is going to be that I've been talking to the devil the whole time or something. But I don't really. I'm not very preachy and that kind of thing. So I love the stories in the Bible for what they are, like a testament of how to learn from these people's mistakes, these people that have made all these mistakes in the past and have sacrificed their loved ones and their families or themselves, how to learn from that to become better people. I kind of like those messages, so I wanted to put a modern day spin on that. But then, like I said, I'm a big fan of stuff like Final Fantasy and anime, so I wanted people with big swords and stuff to fight in it too. So it's definitely a collision of sci-fi, fantasy, and religion. But hopefully it's one that doesn't offend anyone, but also tells like a cool and relatable story, I'm hoping.
Oh, you know what it is? It's the twist that you have to wrap your head around. Once you get that, everything falls into place.
Yeah? Well, that's good to hear.
It's like, oh, this is what happens. Okay, so let's see what happens next. And I think that's what got me flipping the pages.
Sweet.
If I say it always lends itself to good mining of stories, the Bible and sort of the biblical stories.
Sure.
Because you can always sort of take it in whatever direction you want to take it in.
Well, yeah, all those stories are 100% relatable, but also the, they always say write what you know. Like that's the key to writing a good book. A lot of times is to write what you know. Don't ever go outside your wheelhouse. If you're good at telling fantasy stories, be a fantasy writer. If you're good at telling mysteries, do that. With me, I'm kind of a mixture of a lot of things. I love that kind of element, and like I said, I love RPG video games. I love big stories, and so I thought, well, let's just combine all 3 of these big ideas together and see if they work, and see if they still are a relatable story, still tell something where you can identify with the characters, but then also focus on motivation. Like I can't write a character if I don't know where they're coming from, villain or hero. So that's my big concern. Is I hope people, when they read this, I don't want people to necessarily hate Michael, and I don't want people necessarily to love Lucifer, even though they're crossed villain and good guy. I just want people to understand where they're coming from, and when they make a decision, buy into it and go, yeah, okay, I buy that. I buy that Lucifer would rush to his protection, or I buy why Michael is so angry. That's what I hope comes across when people read it.
Absolutely. I think it does. So you definitely did a great job with that.
So
that was the goal. Yeah, absolutely. There's the cha-ching.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm curious because I haven't met. I mean, you guys are one of the earliest people to read the whole book, so I'm that's why I wanted to send it to you today in PDF form. Is I'm really just curious of what people think about it at this point. I haven't got a lot of feedback because up until now we've only been showing the art and no dialogue. Like no one's been able to read it. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to flip through it, and hopefully you guys kind of dig my writing because it's really hard to write when the art is so amazing. Like I'm so nervous. I'm like, wow. Originally I thought I had this really great story, and then now I see it visually. I'm like, man, no one is going to buy this book for the story. Everyone's going to buy this book because of the artwork, which is good. I mean, it's a visual medium, so I want that. But hopefully people will not be upset with the story either.
I like how it seems like it's set up to be, like I said, it's a 3-issue series, so you can sort of tell it could have a definite ending, but I could also sort of see it being this long, expanded story if it needed to be. Also, like if you want to come back to it, you could possibly do it in a follow-up series too.
So yeah, I've already had someone ask me who has read all 3 issues. He asked me like, oh, you kind of leave these 3 things kind of open. Did you do that for sequel purposes? And I said, no, I do it because I'm a fan of Japanese storytelling, so I like that. And obviously being true to the Bible too. A lot of things are at the end of a story in the Bible is left open to interpretation. It's not a definitive, this is what happened, that's what happened. It leaves it to the reader's imagination. So this does have one of those kind of endings. I don't see myself writing a sequel, but if people like it and people want more, I mean, nothing would make me happier than to actually write a book people love. I mean, and how could I turn down people saying we want more? Like,
More,
absolutely.
yeah, if I actually hear someone say that, I'll change the ending.
Nah. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
You have anything else from Awesome Comics you want to promote or tease for the listeners?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we have Foster, which is a graphic novel by Brian Buccellato, who is currently the writer of Detective Comics.
Right.
And he currently wrote Flash as well. He's been really amazing working with us. He had a book called Foster he released in single issue form about 1.5 years ago, and I think 2 years ago to a year ago, and it was a 6-issue miniseries, but the 6th issue never came out. And so what we did was we went in and scooped up the rights to it so that we could release it as a graphic novel. And so the first time available, the 6th and final issue, the conclusion of the story, is going to be in the graphic novel. And it'll be $12.99, and it's available. If you go to your comic stores right now, you can add Foster for $12.99 to your pull list. It comes out July 2nd. And Monomyth, which comes out July 23rd, so just like 3 weeks later, and that's $3.99, and you can add them on your pull list right now. And actually, just to give you a peek behind the curtains for those out there who don't know with comic books, the average comic fan goes and just buys comics on the shelves as they see them. But for indie guys like me, the hardest part is we have to get our sales. We have to get retailers to order the book.
Right.
Marvel and DC, no doubt, all of their books are going to get ordered by every store, most part. But guys like us, and even Image sometimes, we struggle to get our books out there. So if you're out there and you're even remotely interested, into knowing more about Monomyth, go to Nerdist.com, go to OSSMcomics.com, and check out some of the artwork that's up there. Follow us on Twitter, at Awesome Comics, OSSM Comics, or follow me on Twitter at Exploding Bullet. I'll share some artwork with you. I'll tell you how to get it. But the big thing is, go to your comic store between now, which is May 15th, and May 28th, which is the last Wednesday of the month. Just go in and ask them that you want to add those to your pool, or just make sure they order them, and that will ensure that those books are on the shelf for you when you have the money to get them.
Question.
Yeah.
Is this? This shows you how limited my experience is with Comixology. I actually use Comixology. My comic shop uses Comixology pull list.
Oh yeah.
Is this available through the pull list through Comixology?
No. Most companies our size, unfortunately, don't have that option.
Gotcha.
It's not that easy for us, and especially now that Amazon has bought Comixology,
Right.
there seems to be a little bit of a bigger hiccup than there usually is. So I'm working with. Yeah, it's not impossible to do. It's just it just takes some time. So if we don't get to do it with Monomyth, chances are we'll get it in time for our series that come after Monomyth. But I will say we were doing everything we can to make them available on Comixology. Although, like I said, currently we're having problems right now, but we're working on it very very much to change that.
All right. Well, then I'll have to take the advice that you gave, which is to go to my comic shop and ask them to order myself and order the store a few copies, and we'll get that order in.
Sweet. Yeah, and actually, if you want, let me pull it up real quick. There's a special diamond code.
Yes, we can put that out.
Yeah, that you can just give to your retailer, and tell them to just order that. Hold on, I had it right here.
We'll make sure to put that into the show notes too.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right, here we go. It's for Foster, the diamond code is the letter S as in Saint, T as in total, and K as in knockout, 643830. And that's if you want to add Foster to your pull list, just go in and say Foster and give them that code, and they can look it up real quickly and add it. And then also MONOMYTH is the same code. It's STK 643831. So it's just one number higher. So real easy.
There you go.
Boom.
Thanks.
There you go. Not a problem. We get the word out. You got to get it in before the July order cutoffs.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, and this is real exciting for me. I got to thank Omar a lot for giving me this opportunity, and for Eric for drawing the living crap out of it, and PJ for coloring it, and and everyone who's working on it lettering wise. We have Steve Wands and my editor Nathan McMahon. Like, everyone just really supportive and really like believes in the book, and I'm glad it's having the reaction it's getting from people so far. And it's my first comic in previews, so it's a real big deal to me. So
sure.
Yeah, so please, if I can persuade you to try my book, I can't offer a money back guarantee yet, but I will. I'll give you something cool if you don't like it.
All righty. That's awesome.
And of course, being the awesome guest that he is, Siike has said he's gonna stay on for the rest of the episode.
Don't make me regret it.
Of course not.
Yeah, no, I love you guys.
I kind of wish Dirk. I guess maybe we should say the draft talk for next week, because I think in Roddy Cat's email he said he's gonna try to be on next week. So we did for those who don't know, on Twitter last Friday and Saturday we did a first
in honor of the NFL draft.
Yeah, in honor of the NFL draft, even though we won't discuss it until like 2 or 3 weeks after the NFL draft. We did our first annual Comic Book Chronicles fantasy draft, where we all did a how you mix up the we
drafted across the comic book companies' titles, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to compare sales. The sales rankings. After each, basically after each month, and then we'll average the numbers and basically set up standings, and we're going over the span of 6 months, and in 6 months we'll see who's ahead. We haven't established a prize or anything yet. I think for now it's just for just for the sake of competition. But yeah, no, this will be fun. We had some fun over Twitter, because I think I screwed up and chose. I drafted a title from that had just been picked, and I was like, oh no, I hope I don't forfeit my pick.
that was my biggest fear. That's why it took me so long to announce my picks, because I had to make sure no one else had picked it and I didn't miss anything.
I think I picked Roddy Cat's pick of Adventure Time from Adventure Time is what, Boom?
Yes.
Yeah, Boom. Yeah, so I picked Adventure Time by accident. I needed to retract my pick. And my war room was failing me. I picked the wrong book.
What I was trying to spell out earlier is we did a lotto to decide the order.
Right. So, I ended up with the number 1 pick.
And we did snake draft, which basically goes 1 through 4, then 4 through 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the first round was Marvel. Second round was DC and Image. Third round was what? Dark Horse and Dynamite.
Hold on, I've got it open here. Let's see. But yeah, first round was Marvel. So first round everyone had to pick a Marvel book. Second round everyone had to pick either a DC or Image book. The third round was Dark Horse, Dynamite. Fourth round was Boom, IDW, and fifth was Wild Card. So it could be any company.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will see how our sales work out. Yeah. The draft was open to all books. All books, limited series, and single issue and ongoing series.
Digital too, like the digital series.
I'm not sure how that stacks up in the sales. I think we're going by the ICV2 sales numbers.
Something we can actually just pull up and look at.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
So we will so that's the tease. So once again, if everyone, all four of us are on next week, we'll get into a nice heated debate.
And talk smack.
Yes, and I still have to post the results online. So hopefully I'll be able to remind myself to edit this post, or maybe throw it on next week. So if we actually talk about it next, well, I guess I'll probably best. I was gonna say maybe best to save it for the post for the episode we actually talk about, but I could just throw it up there ahead of time, give people a chance to look at it.
Sure.
We'll see.
Alrighty.
All right, so now let's see. Yeah, so now into news. The news segment of the show.
There's a lot of stuff that was popping this week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially the last couple of days. I see from our quick list of news. There's a couple of things that came out even the last couple of days.
yeah, it was busy. Let's see. The writer behind one of the many writers behind Arrow, Mark Guggenheim, is going back into the comic book realm with Marvel, and he is going to be the new ongoing writer on the X-Men comic, replacing Brian Wood.
All right.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah. Let's see. TV news. The first trailer for NBC's Constantine or Teen was released. Actually, watching the trailer took me from someone that wasn't at all interested in the show to being kind of hyped for it.
Nice.
And it comes on a good night, even though I have a DVR that I rarely use. I don't know why. I like watching stuff live.
You're paying that $5 to the cable company a month for nothing.
Yeah. But it comes on Friday nights on NBC, so I'm usually home on Friday night, so I can give it a watch.
Right, because Tim Dog's big night is Saturday night.
Yeah. Once again, staying at home.
That's funny.
I do all my stuff during the day on Saturday. I run
Gotcha.
around on Saturday afternoon and morning. Let's see what else. Channing Tatum is officially announced to be playing Gambit in what looks like to be his own movie.
That's all I can say.
That's coming from the X-Men producer Lauren Schuler Donner.
What do you guys think?
He's not playing Gambit. I thought he was playing Gambit in X-Men Apocalypse.
Is it?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he gets his own movie too?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They were like, she was on the red carpet somewhere. And
Yeah.
She was just running her mouth. She was like, "Yeah, we're really working on X-Force," and she was like, "we're pushing ahead with X-Force, Deadpool, and Gambit."
Yeah.
And Fox and the Fox press team was like, no.
Yeah, right. All the publicist heads exploded.
Exactly.
If I didn't mind.
Nah, she's worked there for long enough. I'm sure she tells them what to do.
Yeah, basically.
Well, like all things, I'll believe them when I see it. Like they've cast 1,000 comic book movies that I've never seen. This is the fourth time they've announced Justice League with a cast. So, I'll believe it when I see the trailers, and even then, I don't know if I'll believe it.
Did they really get up to 4? Wow.
I believe so. There was one that was like really the major one that was going to go forward, which was like the CG one. After Beowulf came out, they're like, oh, we're going to make a Beowulf-style movie with Justice League, and so it's motion capture.
Right.
And I'm like, okay.
I must say, it would look like the Injustice Gods Among Us?
Yeah.
Video
Like
game.
The cutscenes from that.
Yeah.
That I can watch all the time on YouTube.
Could you imagine if that movie came out looking like that, and then 3 years later we got the Injustice game? I'd be like, really, dudes? It's just a video game now?
Absolutely.
But going back to Tatum, as with all things now, I'll just wait until the finished product is out, and then I'll judge it then.
There you go.
Same with Batfleck, which I guess I could jump to that story.
Might as well.
Where is it?
Batfleck.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's actually the title. Yeah, Zack Snyder reveals Affleck's Batman look and the new Batmobile.
Oh.
It looked fine.
Yeah, cool.
The very original photo that everyone was spazzing out about, I mean, it was so dark I couldn't really see anything besides the small ears.
Right.
Yes.
Look cool.
Right, which is the first thing that you're supposed to notice, right? And
Yeah,
I believe there were a few websites that posted like a more enhanced visual of the image, and you see much more definition to the costume and much more, many more details on the at least the rear end of the Batmobile. And it was interesting to see because I missed, just like you said, it was so dark. I missed the Dark Knight-esque bat symbol on his chest. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, so this is the direction that they're going.
Sure.
I mean, it took them enhancing the photo in Photoshop for me to see the logo.
Right.
Everyone was like freaking out originally just from the very dark photo. I'm like,
right,
you
and
can't
the short
see.
ears. The short
can't
ears
see.
is what
I was
sold
like, you
it.
can't see anything.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, Catman looks cool.
Ah! Nice!
Man, Wildcat.
Ted Grant. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, it's Ted Grant.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Not Roddycat, Dork Geekus says X-Men is now on his pull list. So he's excited
nice.
about Guggenheim.
Nice.
Me too.
Yeah.
Is it going to stay an all-women team? Have they announced that?
He said in an interview that it's sticking. He actually even said what his initial arc is going to be. He's taking them in space since everything's cosmic now.
Ah,
It deals with the Deathbird,
Oh, okay.
who is a member of the Jean Grey School.
True,
So,
yeah. I'm okay with that then.
Yeah, me too.
I like Guggenheim.
Yeah, he was writing stuff back during my hiatus from comics. So, I mean, I love Arrow, so
Oh, yeah.
so hey, and we'll get to discussing that at the end of news.
Sure.
sure, yeah, because there's some breaking stuff today.
Christos Gage and Dan Slott will be bringing Superior Spider-Man back to the future.
Yeah, much to PCN_Dirt's glee, eternal glee, Superior Spider-Man is making another appearance in the Marvel Universe.
Yay! I'm happy too.
Nice, Siike. I'm glad you like it. I guess we can't get rid of Ock forever.
Yeah.
So this issues 32 and 33, I believe, of Superior Spider-Man, where he's in the year 2099, which took place during I forget the exact issue.
19.
19, where he phased out of existence and came back a couple pages later.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to find out, and then it's going to lead into Spider-Verse.
Oh, always.
And hopefully some kind of ongoing series for Spock. Been dubbed.
That's right. Spock. Spider Rock. I love that.
Spock!
Spock!
See,
Cool.
that,
There's Eric Bana when I need him. Spock!
so, any thoughts on that?
I love it.
That's being excited.
Yeah, I love it.
Not the biggest fan of Spock, but I'm anything that that keeps telling pretty good Spidey stories. I'm all for.
Saint Walker 191 on Twitter reminds me that IGN and others report that Tatum Gambit is going to try and replace Jackman Wolverine as the face of the X films.
Ah.
Cause yeah, IGN had like a little short video sort of speculating on who's gonna be the face of the X-Men franchise after Jackman's one last Wolverine movie, as he keeps saying.
My goodness.
One more.
Give back the license. Give back the license. Oh, if I could do that.
I'll say this. I would love to see Hugh Jackman himself as Wolverine in like the Avengers universe, but I don't want to. I want Spider-Man to go back to Marvel. I don't think Fox. They're not batting. They're not doing that bad. Like I liked X-Men 1 and 2. I liked First Class to an extent. And I like the Wolverine. So and I've heard this one from a couple really good reliable sources is the best X-Men movie out of all of them.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna keep an open mind.
All right, I can respect that.
And I was
going to say I'm just going in, with okay expectations because of the decent footage that I've seen in the trailer.
Sure.
So.
No, that's safe because I think you'll go in and hopefully be surprised. I want this to do well because I have an apocalypse tattoo on my arm. So
No, now you gotta put it on screen. Now you gotta put it on screen unless it's not in a good place.
No, it's good. It's I don't know if it says En Sabanor under my X, and then I have the Black Bolt lightning bolts underneath.
Oh, wow.
So I'm a big fan of Apocalypse and Black Bolt, and I even have the comic book where they meet. Where they meet and Black Bolt kills Apocalypse.
Wow, that's really a creative design too. That I applaud you for that. That's creative.
My tattoo artist is a genius.
That is creative. Alrighty. So what do we have next?
Just a correction. That was Warbird, not Deathbird.
Yeah, Warbird. Okay,
Right.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, something told me when I was saying it that I was saying it wrong.
Well, Deathbird's also she/her, so you know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. In the article I read, I think it said Deathbird, so they might have gotten it wrong too.
She might be involved in the story if they're going into space.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we'll wait and see.
Right.
You could have been accurate.
Exactly.
Networks announced time slots for Gotham, The Flash, Constantine, and more. Gotham, going off the top of my memory, even though I got the link here. Gotham is going to be Monday nights on Fox. Mondays 8 o'clock. Flash is Tuesday night 8 o'clock. Constantine is either 9 or 10 Friday nights on NBC. With Flash, of course, is CW 8 o'clock. And iZombie is a mid-season replacement, and was it Agent Carter are both mid-season replacements.
What about Arrow? What night is Arrow sticking to Wednesdays?
Yes.
Cool.
And Shield is moving from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Tuesdays.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Get those ratings up. So
thankfully on Tuesday I'll be able to watch The Flash and then watch Agents of Shield.
There you go. And no spoilers for this week's Agents of Shield. I did not get a chance to watch it yet.
Oh.
It was cool.
Man, I didn't even like that show, and I watched it.
Nice.
Arrow was definitely better, but
yeah, Arrow's amazing. Supernatural is my Tuesday night show. I always watch Agents of Shield like a day or two later.
The show that won't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm about to say people love that show.
Although that spin-off, they did a backdoor pilot this season, episode 20, and it was so bad.
Oh no.
See, the thing about Supernatural is even though they have a couple bad episodes each season, it's kind of like bad in that Buffy kind of way, So you still like the characters and you still like the overall story. And I will say, for the most part, like Arrow, Supernatural doesn't feel exactly like a CW show to me, if you know what I mean. Besides having good-looking actors, it doesn't. The acting has gotten better. They've been doing it for 9 years. But so when they did the spin-off, it felt like a bad episode of like Vampire Diaries, where you're just like, oh, this is like, these are CW actors. And I hate to. I would love a spin-off of Supernatural, but I'm glad that we're not going to get one based off of what they just tried to squeeze in this season. Sadly.
All right.
I have a Supernatural tattoo also.
No kidding.
Yeah, right there. It's the symbol the brothers have. It protects you. It protects demons from possessing you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should all have that.
Amen.
And last bit of news. So with DC has these weekly comics out, Batman Eternal and the New 52, The Future's End, and I think later in the year the Earth 2 weekly book is supposed to come out, and already a writer is rumored to be leaving the project, which would match the other 2 weekly books having a writer from the creative team leave before the book even starts. So the rumor from Blee and Cool is Paul Levitz is walking away from the Earth 2 Weekly.
Oh, wow.
He is currently the writer of World's Finest.
That's a bummer. Who are the? Because I'm very behind on a lot of my comic news. Who do you know? Do you happen to know who left the other 2 weekly series?
John Layman left Batman Eternal.
Oh, but I think that one is because of his schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Kyle Higgins taking his place.
Okay.
And
Oh, good Kyle. That's
the what's their weekly?
Oh, Future's End, right?
Future's End. Oh, yeah. Let me open the articles because I think they mentioned who that was that left that one. Greg Rucka, I think it is. Yeah, Greg.
Holy cow.
Greg Rucka left Future's End before it was announced. John Layman left Batman Eternal before the first issue was published. It seems that you can't have a DC Comics weekly book without a writer striking off before it's published.
Well, like I said, to be fair, John Layman's that's just because his other stuff is making him a lot of money.
Yeah, and he wanted to finish Chew.
Yeah, and he wanted to finish Chew, right? So I applaud him for knowing his priorities with his like indie fan base. That's pretty cool. That's a bummer about Paul Levitz, man. I like him, and I think he's kind of it seems to me has gotten a lot of a shaft since he's been doing New 52 stuff because his Legion stuff wasn't as strong as I know he's able to write, and then World's Finest I've kind of actually been digging, so that's a bummer that he's not going to be doing that in the weekly series. It's a shame.
Indeed.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, so now we can
just very quickly. Did you guys see? I don't know if this was posted today because I was very busy churning out paperwork at my desk. The Flash debuted trailers this week, or was it today?
Oh yes.
Yep. Was it today? Okay. And there was an extended trailer that you can watch, and I couldn't turn up the volume all the way because there were still people in the office. And I was looking for headphones. I'm like, screw it, just play with the volume low. And I like the look. The FX did not look as cheesy as I thought they might.
Sure.
They still do. I mean, you can definitely tell that they are limited in the TV budget, but are limited by the TV budget in terms of how much they can put into the speed effects. But I grew up with with the John Wesley Shipp?
Yeah.
Flash.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the speed effects aren't that they aren't that hard to do. So if they can at least craft a good story around it, they can tell a good Flash story.
I mean, the trailer looks awesome. It's 5.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. He's like fighting Weather Wizard, and he's like Oliver.
Mirror Master, I think too.
I think a lot of people are in it, and they definitely show the origin of his mom dying, and it shows Reverse Flash like running around her.
That's what that was.
Yeah, because there's actually someone freeze framed it and did a snapshot, and it's like you actually see a dude in a yellow Flash costume standing there, like over her body. So
I definitely saw the yellow, and it didn't click because like I said, I was just sort of watching it just to see what it was without really listening to any of the dialogue.
Sure.
And it's nice to see. Like, I recognize the yellow, and it just didn't click, and I'm glad that that's actually part of the story.
Are you talking about Reverse Flash?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and just in case you hear that alarm sound in the background, yes, I am on this show live from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn with the house alarms going off in the background. That's right.
And if you hear an alarm sound on my end that sounds closer, it's because I'm breaking into a house in Brooklyn.
All right. We can get to the reviews of the books this week.
We're not going to throw out ASM 2?
Oh.
Who?
Amazing Spidey 2? Because we always talk about the movie reviews before we do.
I forgot it. That's why I have other hosts here with me.
Exactly. And Dirt isn't here, and he usually puts off watching any of these movies until they're out on video. So I like to get it. I like to get the stuff off my chest, like pretty much right after I watch it. So.
Right.
Have at it.
Yeah, go for it. What did you think?
Alrighty, so I watched this last night, and let me tell you, I came out. I sat in my seat for a good 5 minutes like during the credits. There is something to watch during the credits, but it's not much of anything really. Not really Spidey related. No spoilers. But I sat there and told my buddy who came to watch it with me. I said, "What did I just watch?" That was pretty much my question. What on earth did I just watch? Because I'm a big fan. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I'm also a big fan of Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. She's awesome. You know, they make her up to be insane, and she's already very attractive, but they make her up to be insanely hot as Gwen Stacy. And you know, I'm kind of, you know, enthralled when I'm watching her on the screen. I watch them on the screen, and I get the chemistry. You know, I mean, you're just sort of, you know, you're taken in by their interactions, but the story around them was just all over the place, and I couldn't, you know, figure out what was going on. It was just layer after layer of just stuff going on. You know, spoiler alert, there is that end that you thought might happen, but you thought it might not happen, and there's still another movie in this, you know, section of the trilogy, and, you know, you weren't sure it's going to happen. It just might happen. Just, you know, letting you guys know right now. What else is there? I thought the effects were, you know what? I thought the effects were distracting, to be perfectly honest.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did see it in 3D. I did not see it in IMAX. But I thought there was a level of distraction that I found, you know, during some of the fight sequences, and the you know, some of the web slinging something seemed off. I wasn't sure what it was. I wasn't sure if it was the quality of the projection in the theater I was watching it in. Sometimes the sound was a little muffled too. I think that's maybe a theater issue. I may have to go see it in like the New York City IMAX. But you know, I just, in terms of just getting back to the story, you know, I'm still having so many mixed feelings about what they're doing with the story of Peter Parker and what they're trying to develop here in the movie, because they started out with, I mean, come on, I'm spoiling everything already, but they started out with Richard Parker and sort of his origin and how he plays an important role in what ends up happening to Peter Parker. So, you know, I'm kind of interested to see where that goes, but at the same time, I didn't grow up with Ultimate Spidey. I grew up with 616 Spidey, and it all strikes me as so odd. I'm like, wait, what? You know, when they developed Richard and Mary Parker in, like, was it the late 90s? I thought it was cool. Some people thought it was corny. I was kind of glad they made them Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know?
Yeah.
But
was that a Ultimate thing?
No, that was a 616.
Yeah, that was a 616. It was right before the Clone Saga. 2 life model decoy versions of the Parker showed up, and they claimed to be the real Richard and Mary.
That's right. I remember that happening. That's like around the time I jumped out of the comic
right.
Yeah, and it was all a big plan by the Chameleon, but they were revealed in that time to be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. So when they did stuff like the -1 issues,
right,
they did a -1 issue where they were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and they worked with Logan on a mission.
Exactly. That was an incredible issue, by the way. I got John Romita Sr. to autograph that for me, because he did that. He worked on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that issue. It's really good.
See, we got, you know, we're right here. We're right here.
That's right. Me and Dirt were like this last time too, so it's yeah.
That's awesome. So, you know, I remember that.
Like that too.
Absolutely. So, you know, like, I go back to that, and I have that kind of, you know, that kind of idyllic imagery of Richard and Mary Parker, and to see them like this in the movie, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is what the ultimate Richard and Mary Parker were supposed to be, but, you know.
Yeah, the Ultimate ones, they worked for Oscorp, but Richard Parker's partner, science partner, was Eddie Brock Sr.
That's it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of Ultimate, but also kind of 616, like, mixed together.
Gotcha. So, you know, I have very mixed feelings about the whole movie. Jamie Foxx, I kind of lost interest in his character very quickly. I didn't, I didn't appreciate that they had just kind of made Electro into this kind of, weak-willed guy, looking for attention and approval.
Yeah, because they even compared him to the Riddler.
The Riddler from Batman Forever.
Exactly. And then when they started doing the electronic modulation for his voice, I was just like, all right, I'm out. I'm tuning him out. I'm not even listening to what he's saying.
Fixing his teeth was the thing that clinched it for me. It was like, as soon as his gap in his teeth fixed, I go, why? Like, why would you waste 5 seconds of screen time to show his teeth fix?
No idea.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, without coming up with like an overall grade for the movie, I can definitely tell you I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. I was just taken, I was very taken by Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield on the screen, but otherwise not terribly happy with the whole movie.
I thought it was just okay. Basically, like, had more action than the first movie, which for some reason usually I try to see these movies like twice. I've only seen Amazing Spider-Man once.
Really?
And Amazing Spider-Man 2 so far at least once, and don't own either on Blu-ray. Shocking.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've seen Amazing Spider-Man one time, and then this one I saw once, and I don't plan to ever watch either one of them again, and I certainly won't pay to own them either. As big of a Spidey fan as I am, I will say I admit to being a spoiled brat these days. There was a time when I was a kid that I would have killed for any of these characters to get live-action movies, and there was a time where we thought in the 90s we were going to get them because the first Batman was so good, and and so we were like, oh right, this is it, this is the beginning, this is what we've been waiting for. And then the same franchise, Batman, ruined it with Batman, and Robin. So so that killed it for us for a couple years, and then Blade kind of restarted it, and then X-Men followed, and it just got. And I think ever since then there's been a precedent set of like how to make at least a compelling comic book movie, whether you think it's amazing or not, at least one that holds your attention till the end, and gets you rooting for at least one character. There was a precedent that was set around the time of X-Men 2 and Spider-Man 2, and then Nolan jumping on Batman. There was a bar that was raised.
Right.
And so when I saw this, I was like, well, this feels like someone whose bar was like the first Fantastic Four movie.
Oh.
Like, this is, to me, when I saw, and I don't want to hate, like, but at the same time, like, I admit that I'm spoiled. There was a time I would have taken any Spider-Man movie, and I would have loved it. But now that I like Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, so much that it's going to be really hard for any Spider-Man to come near that. And this one to me was this one was worse. I came home and watched Spider-Man 3.
What?
After I saw this movie.
No, that's gone. No.
I'm a big hater on this movie, and I admit I'm probably a little out of line, but I did not like this movie. But I love Emma Stone, and I love Gwen Stacy's my favorite character. I'll show this now. This is a Tim Sales sketch of Gwen Stacy on the back of my Kindle Fire.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a whole wall that you can't see. It's behind the computer of Gwen Stacy stuff. A lot of it's Tim Sale art, original Tim Sale art. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I love Spider-Man Blue.
That is a great story.
It's a good book. So
I'm gonna go back and read it now.
Yeah, do it. But you're right. I agree with all the stuff you did like in this movie. I'm with you 100%. There were things in this movie that I was like, hey, I thought Emma Stone was great. I thought some of the acting was really good. I thought some of the visuals even were pretty good. But then there was just a lot. There was just too many things that kept taking me out of the movie, and it gives me. I'm more of a hater side than you are, but I am a little mixed as well on a lot of things.
Gotcha. I still can't believe that you think Spidey 3 was. See, the difference for me is I sat in my seat after Spidey 3 saying, "Oh my God, what the hell was that?" As opposed to, "Oh yeah, there you go, thank you, fire engine." New York, after all.
Yeah.
And which was it? In Amazing, I sat there thinking, what just happened? So like the hatred wasn't there. Just the confusion, I think, was more apparent watching Amazing Spidey 2. Whereas in Spider-Man 3, I was like, oh my God, like money back, please,
It's funny because like I don't know, like Spider-Man 3 when I first saw it, I didn't hate it. What I hated about it was I liked I hated the amnesia story that they did with Harry. I thought that was a waste of time for the script to have that involved. That could have been screen time used to better serve, like to explain more about Sandman or Venom or something. But my biggest complaint about Spider-Man 3 was Venom. It was the symbiote came out of nowhere, and the Eddie Brock thing just didn't feel like a natural build-up. And so, although I thought Topher did okay as the character, as that version of Venom, I just was like, okay, you know what? If you take Venom out of the third movie and you take out the black symbiote, which would then take out the corny scene where he's like dancing in the nightclub, if you take out one character, you almost fix Spider-Man 3. Whereas in Amazing Spider-Man 2, you have to take out too much to fix it, and that's why that's my only barometer of saying that. I'm not saying I love Spider-Man 3, but it's the only reason I went back and watched that again, because I was like, did I hate this as much as I thought? And when I finished Spider-Man 3, I was like, you know what? I hated Venom in it, but I thought the guy who played Sandman did a good job. I thought Peter and Harry's relationship was handled much better in that movie than in this movie. So that's the only reason I'm being a little bit of a hater.
I got you. I mean, speaking, just very quickly, let's kind of speak on this. But Tim, did you just mention something about what you own on Blu-ray? Which of these Spidey movies it is that you own?
I have the original 3.
Okay, see, I refuse to buy Spidey 3. I have 1 and 2, and I bought Amazing Spidey on Blu-ray because I liked Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Okay, yeah.
I liked them in the movie, so that's why I bought it on Blu-ray. And this one, I'm going to be very hesitant to buy. It's like I'm still on the fence. It's like me and Iron Man 3. You know? I haven't bought Iron Man 3 yet on anything, and I'm like, I like the movies mostly, but I don't know if I want to plunk the money down to get a hard copy, you know?
Fair enough. Well, we'll just wait till it's like in a $5 bin.
Exactly.
Everybody wins.
Exactly. So what did you think, Tim?
Like I said, the movie was fine. I was shocked and surprised they went through with the Gwen Stacy death. Folks in this theater were shook when that snap happened.
Even I was surprised. I was just like, oh, you know. I mean, I knew. As it was developing, I was like, oh, they're really gonna do it? Really? What? And that was my reaction.
I guess they're laying seeds for Sinister Six movie. We'll see how that goes. Jamie Foxx was fine. Harry felt rushed.
Yeah.
As the Goblin.
Yeah, it's hard. It was hard to cram in a childhood friendship into the already big story they were telling in that movie.
Right. Like seriously, childhood friendship based on what? You know, like they don't even show a flashback or anything.
No, and then they said they're like, oh, we were friends, and then like, and you've been gone for 10 years. I'm like, so were they friends for like a summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. When exactly did this friendship blossom?
Right, because they're 18, and Peter was about 8 when his parents like left him. Right. So I'm like, so they were best friends for a summer, and then Harry disappeared.
Harry had his personal assistant Felicia, who I guess was Felicia Hardy, but nothing was ever came of that. I guess kind of like Agent 13 and Captain America 2. She actually did stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Agent 13 actually did a few things.
Right.
But yeah, the movie was fine. Yeah.
See, that's a bummer that you're like. I have a lot of friends that have that reaction too. They're like, "Oh, it's fine." It's like, "No, it's Spider-Man. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to live up to its title." You know, so it's a bummer that we all have like these middle of the road expression, you know, like feelings for it.
Especially when Spider-Man's one of my favorite heroes.
Same. I mean, seriously.
Amen. Yeah, look at that shirt. Nice.
You know?
Spider-Sense Tingler.
Absolutely. So yeah, like, you know, if there was you know, just that mixed review feeling, like if there's ever the definition of having mixed, you know, having mixed feelings about something, it was my feelings on Amazing Spidey 2.
Well, you're the first person I've talked to that liked the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Really?
Who is mixed on this one.
No kidding.
Yeah, because most of my friends were like, "Oh, I love the first one, and I like this one too." And I'm like, "Okay," and I you know, again, it's like I never will fault anyone for their opinion. So it's like, "Oh, cool. So you like that one? So you're the first one who's like that I've met anyway. That and I take it with a grain of salt. I don't hang out with a lot of people, but at the same time, At the same time, you're the first one I've talked to that has said on a podcast that has said like, oh, I love the first one, mixed on the second one, and so that bump, I feel bad for you because you're clearly a huge Spider-Man fan. I would want you to enjoy a Spider-Man movie, you know?
Right, and that's sort of I think that's sort of the overarching problem that I had is that I didn't enjoy myself watching the movie, and I didn't come out of it with a positive feeling, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know? Just recently, I finished watching Captain America, Winter Soldier, and I literally stopped. When the movie ended, I was upbeat about where the movies were going.
Yeah, I went to the gym and worked out. I don't even work out. I was just like, I need to do something. I want to throw a shield.
You're like looking for elevators to jump into with other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I started beating people up in elevators in LA.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone want to get off?
Yeah, exactly.
See now, this is what's going to happen when I go to work tomorrow. I'm going to turn around.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah,
That's
Cap,
awesome.
man, Cap's awesome. Cap 2 was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. So yeah, that I guess we all have like very mixed reviews about Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Now the books of the week.
Yes, let's get to the books of the week.
Do it.
All right. I'm going to take a look at your list, and then I'm going to throw out what...
I reviewed 2 books for the website, thekliqnation.com. They were All New X-Men number 27 and Avengers 29, and I gave both 5 out of 5.
Whoa.
These were very good books. I'm glad that you reviewed these. I did read these today, and they definitely... Avengers 29 was definitely a setup for what's coming next. We have a saying here on the Comic Book Chronicles called Hickman Mumbo Jumbo, where there's sort of a lot of exposition and a lot of setup for things that just take a long time to percolate and develop. This felt a little bit like that, but not as intense as it has been in past issues. And I felt like they're definitely chugging forward with this. There's a lot happening in Avengers 29.
Hickman's pretty amazing with that. He's the only writer I've ever seen that uses exposition to complicate the story even more. I'm like, the very definition of exposition is like, oh, it's a corner cutting tool so you can explain the plot faster.
Exactly.
So you can get to the action faster. And he's the only one who's like, exposition. I'm like, it doesn't feel like exposition. I have a million questions. Yeah.
The Hickman Mumbo Jumbo is finally leading somewhere. The last two issues of Avengers have been like tension filled.
Exactly.
Sure.
Stuff is going down.
Exactly.
Even though it's kind of the same old stuff we've seen before.
I'll check it out based on your recommendation because I read Original Sin 0 and 1, and I liked 0. Mark Waid wrote the heck out of that issue. 1 I'm not sold on. I still think this is a silly idea, but I do want to. I'm interested in the Marvel Universe, so I will stick with it. I mean, I stuck through Forever Evil, so I'm sure I'll stick through this just fine.
That'll finally end this month.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, I just had an act of defiance. I'm not buying or reading the last issue.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And just adding on to All New X-Men number 27. The Future Brotherhood is back, and there's some developments as to who actually, as to the origins and the some of the motivations of these of this Future Brotherhood. So there's definitely some good developments happening, kind of expanding on who these characters are and how they relate to the current. It's hard to say current X-Men and present X-Men because all these all the past the original X-Men are still running around, so it's kind of hard to keep differentiating them like that.
The Mystique family tree grows.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a coloring mistake at first.
Nope.
No, they don't make those anymore.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, but yeah, I mean, yeah, when you grow up, looking at dots composing coloring on a comic book page,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you sure this isn't a mistake? I had to look at it again. Wait, really?
Although,
spoiler alert.
yeah, although DC made a coloring mistake recently. I think they colored like Onyx the wrong race or something, and then they fixed it in the next Green Arrow issue.
No, really?
Something like that, yeah. Like so someone was like, they were like, is she supposed to be Caucasian? And they're like, oh, whoops, I can't remember if it was Onyx, because I know Onyx is African American, but I can't remember if that was, I can't remember. I'll be honest with you, but I know there was a coloring mistake on a skin tone in a Green Arrow book, and they fixed it in the issue after. Crazy.
All right. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, you want to throw in New Avengers 2, more Hickman mumbo jumbo that's actually going somewhere?
Yeah, it's still dealing with the alternate planet that's on the incursion collision course with our Earth, and the sort of Justice League inspired heroes from that universe. I will mention that one of the quote unquote all new Young Gun artists, Valerio Schiti,
Skeety
is the artist on it. Who I'm enjoying his work. He especially his stint on Mighty Avengers. But it's great here, his New Avengers.
Yeah. I like this book. I can definitely tell you that. We joke about how Marvel's really, capitalizing on the Avengers becoming a name brand and putting out, 50 million Avengers books. I like the fact that New Avengers, gives space for some characters like Black Panther to breathe.
Yeah.
And I thought there were some really great developments for the Black Panther character, and they're kind of focusing on him and Namor in this book. Because a lot of the other characters in the in this version of the Illuminati have their own books or are major players in different books, and I'm glad that New Avengers is focusing on some of these characters, specifically Black Panther, and giving him room to develop, without him having his own solo title. It's nice to see that they're giving him a spotlight in this book.
Yeah, that's a good point because. Yeah, especially last like 4 or 5 issues, it's been very Black Panther, Namor centric.
Yeah, so I like that about this book. As kind of tired as I am of this incursion storyline and it's just taking forever, Hickman. But at the same time, it is giving these characters who don't necessarily support their own books right now. Of room to really develop and continuing their stories and development. So I like New Avengers for that. All right, let's see. Let me throw out something non-Marvel related. What did I read?
I actually only read New Avengers because of Black Panther.
Oh, nice.
Because everyone in that book acts like an a-hole. And they don't act like heroes at all, and even T'Challa to a certain extent. But to me, T'Challa, the difference between him and everyone else, and I guess I would lump Namor in too, is that they're kings first. They're kings before they're superheroes.
Right.
And I have Black Panther's first appearance. I have a lot of the Fantastic Four run that had like the first appearance of. Galactus. It had Inhumans.
Nice.
all these characters. Black Panther, and I'm a big Thing fan, so I love that whole run. But it introduced me to so many great characters like Black Bolt and Black Panther, and
Sure.
they became 2 of my favorites. So I read that book just for that, and I think Hickman actually does a pretty decent job writing T'Challa. And I will say, anyone at Marvel, if you are looking to do an ongoing Black Panther book, I am dying to write one.
There you go.
I'm going to throw that out there. Shameless plug.
There you go. Sounds good. If all you listeners out there, especially you guys at Marvel.
Yeah, I love the Priest run that was done in the 90s, the Marvel Knight stuff. I love the Reggie Hudlin stuff. I have every issue of. I love when he was like running around New York as Daredevil for a while.
Right.
Like I pretty much just love anything Black Panther related. Even if it's done poorly, I still read it.
Right. So you'll appreciate this issue of New Avengers if you haven't picked it up yet, because it definitely plays on what you like about his dynamic in this particular book. Specifically the bit about being a king first and a hero second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to check it out. I'm probably 2 or 3 issues behind on that book, so I'll have to catch up.
Definitely, I recommend it because I think you want to catch up because I think stuff is starting to pop.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what his original sin in. There's a couple characters that I'm like, all right, this original sin idea is going to work for some of these characters. I don't think it works for every character, but I think it works for some, and I think Black Panther, I'm curious to see what they reveal with him.
Cool.
Sweet. What else did you guys read? Yeah, you're my window into new comics because I'm a few weeks behind.
I didn't finish it, but I started reading Starlight #3 from Mark Millar and Goran Parlov, I believe his name is. I'm just going off my memory here. And I think it's issue 3. And he gave a shout out to KLIQ Nation again on the back or last page.
You really got to learn the name.
We gave the 5-star review. I'll give you the name here in a second here.
Yeah, Goran Parlov. That's his name.
Yeah, Parlov.
Goran Parlov.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. He gave you a little shout out, huh?
Yeah, he puts us on the back, like I guess whatever websites gave 5-star one he'll put them on one of the last pages. So it says like the KLIQ Nation.
So does issue 3 get a 5-star review?
I'll let you know once I finish it.
All right.
So far, the first couple pages were good.
Yeah, I say for promotional purposes, it should always get 5 stars.
Yeah, it gets us on the back of books.
That's actually a really good idea.
He put us on the back of issue 2. I thought that would be like that was it, but somehow we made it again.
That's cool, man. Keep reading.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Any other non-Marvel stuff? Because everything else I read was Marvel.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list now. Give me 1 second because I was reading stuff very quickly today. Like I said, I think I mentioned before we went on the air. I tried to read through Superman Doomed, and I kind of hit a spot just as I was getting home, where I just, I hit a spot in the book. I was just like, what? And I stopped. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back to this. I did read. What the heck is that called? What's the weekly book called? It's. I'm scrolling past it probably too fast.
Future's End?
Yes, Future's End. I read Future's End. There's the, if you're not familiar with the premise, it's 5 years in the future.
It's Final Crisis.
Yeah, right. There's some stuff. It's some time travel. No, not time travel. Just shunting.
There's some time travel, right? Batman Beyond's in it. Who's my favorite?
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
There is, and he doesn't play much role in it, but I guess they lead with him so that people see that they're trying to develop his storyline and see how they integrate him into the current or at least 5 years from now DC timeline. And there's some if you're not familiar with some of the changes to Brother Eye and how that's developed. They expand on that a little bit, and I don't remember is it Mr. Terrific?
Yeah.
I remember him being such a jerk.
Michael Holt? I guess it depends. In the New 52 version, when they started his series, he was like a company owner, and he was a little arrogant about being the second or third smartest man.
Okay.
So it's not totally out of character, in my opinion, if he's a jerk from the New 52 version.
Got it.
I'm
mostly familiar with him from like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. But,
he's awesome, man, with those little orbs around him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's how I'm familiar with him, and a little bit of reading from pre-52 stuff. But
he's dope.
It's kind of I was kind of taken aback by how well they were writing him as a jerk. And I was just like, wait, your name is Mr. Terrific. You're not supposed to be so much of a jerk, man.
Mr. Fantastic mutated his entire family, and he took the name Mr. Fantastic. So
that's right.
That's not a very fantastic thing to do.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point. So, the story's definitely moving along. I read it, cover to cover, basically flipping along, and that's a good sign. I didn't stop at any point and say, what? So that's a very good sign. I'm not a DC guy at all. I definitely have, some, I have some soft spots for DC characters and stories.
Sure.
But for me to say that I read it, cover to cover and, and was, actively flipping through is a good sign. So, that's definitely up there this week as, as a possible click of the week. Kind of juggling a couple of books. The Hickman Mumbo Jumbo books come to mind. But it was a good read this week. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil too much. Is there a book, Tim, that you wanted to read this week that you didn't get to?
I was a couple. Let me quickly go through the last of the books I read. Avengers Undercover #4. Baron Zemo makes his offer to the kids.
Okay.
All new Ghost Rider. Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, how's issue 3? Because I actually liked the first 2.
Same.
3 is great as well. He gets propositioned by the spirit inside the car.
Okay.
So supposedly they're trying to set it up a little different than previous Ghost Riders.
So it's not Mephisto then?
Or Zarathos.
Well,
Or Zarathos?
as far as we know, it's just a spirit in the car.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Who knows
So
what it could
that's
turn
cool.
out to be.
Yeah. I love that. That's really cool.
And
I'm glad
supposedly,
that they're taking it more than 3 issues to develop.
Well, me too, because I remember I love the '90s Ghost Rider, Dan Ketch.
Oh yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And they kind of explain everything in the first issue. It's like he finds a motorcycle, he finds the talisman, and it's of demons in it, and he sets it free inside his body, and you're just like, okay, well then what is enticing me to want to read more other than it's a cool character? And what I like about this new version is that they're taking their time with it. They're really just like, I'm glad in the first issue he just got shot and then all of a sudden he's in flames. I'm like, what happened? Like, what did he make a deal? Like, what happened in like the split second that he died? And I gotta get issue 3 now. I love it.
Nice. I did not. This is one of my books that I wanted to read this week. I just didn't have time to get to it. I like Ghost Rider 3. I'm with you on the '90s Ghost Rider. I think what sold Ghost Rider in the '90s was partially the story, partially the art. Because it's Javier Soltaris and Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, then you had the Kubert brothers took over after that. Salvador Larocco.
Exactly.
Chris
Art
Bacala.
was really strong on Ghost Rider, and that definitely sold a lot of books.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
And the art on this is definitely quirky, but at the same time, I think it's very good. The storytelling in the new Ghost Rider book is very good in terms of the visual storytelling and from panel to panel. And the layouts are very good, so I give that a lot of credit. And I'm saying this not even read issue number 3, so I'm looking forward to reading that.
Nice. What else you read, Tim?
I think that covers it.
Yeah, that was all I read.
That covers it. I'm scrolling through because I'm trying to remember if I read anything else. There's a lot of things I wanted to get to read today for tonight's show.
That's right. Yeah, we were saying stuff we wanted to read.
Yeah.
There's a long list.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff out this week. I wanted to read.
Futures End number 2.
Right.
The Superman books for the Doomed.
Right. I wanted to read Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 1.
I said I'm gonna try that out too.
The
art looks
I like
kind of
Iron
nice.
Fist.
I wasn't crazy about the Iron Fist book.
No.
First issue.
No,
I
I
like
love
it.
the Iron Fist book with Kari Andrews.
Yeah, it was cool, and I like the art in Elektra. The story was okay, but the art in Elektra was really nice.
I want to see where it goes in the second issue.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I can represent graphic novels a little bit because I've caught up on those. I bought Mike Carey and Salvador Rocco's X-Men: No More Humans.
Ooh, yes. How was that?
Oh.
When
Yeah,
did that
actually,
come out couple
I
weeks
think
ago?
I think it came out like a week or probably 2 weeks ago. I just got it and I bought it on Free Comic Day no, actually Omar bought it for me as a gift like last week.
Nice.
He's like, how far are you behind on comics? I'm like, pretty far. So for my birthday, he bought me that, and he got me Annihilation, the omnibus, which I'm
Nice.
which I've read before when it first came out, but I forgot most of it, so I'm so excited to reread it. So we're going to Vegas this weekend for the Diamond Summit, and I'm bringing those with me to read, and I also got.
You're gonna carry the omnibus?
Well, the omnibus I'll probably leave here.
Okay.
And I'll bring X-Men, and then I'll bring this, which is my new favorite indie series. It's called Rust. It's printed through Archaea, and it's basically my 2-second description on it is it's Iron Giant meets the Rocketeer.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's a 4 graphic novel series, and volume 3 just came out this Wednesday. So I've read some of it, but I'm going to read it in Vegas this weekend. But to answer your question, X-Men No More Humans was actually pretty decent. I have not been a fan of the Bendis X-Men stuff. I like Amazing X-Men, and I like Uncanny Avengers sometimes.
Yeah,
so
no, I feel you on that.
it's pretty. I love Remender, but it's a pretty inconsistent book. But I'm very picky with X-Men. It's my favorite comic. I'm not a Bendis fan by nature. I don't like him on team books. I think he can write the hell out of Ultimate Spider-Man, and Daredevil. But when he's on a team book, he's a mess, in my opinion. So I haven't been. I've read 15 issues of All New X-Men and dropped it. But this kind of picks up from All New X-Men, and it kind of shows like a split decision thing where like the X-Men wake up and they're in a world with no humans. So it's kind of a little bit like House of M. So it wraps up. That's the only downside is I think it would have been a really cool thing to have ramifications felt from it. But unfortunately, because it's a self-contained story, it kind of wraps up with a bow on the end. So I wasn't a big fan of that, but I thought Mike Carey did a good job. You got to see some of the future X-Men that you saw recently in All New X-Men, like Rays and stuff. And so some of those characters popped up. Mystique had a big part in it. Magneto had a big part. So I thought it was cool. Salvador Rocco drew the hell out of it. So if you're a fan of Mike Carey, Salvador Rocco, or All New X-Men, I would say it's probably good to have it as part of the collection because it does stem from those stories, even though I doubt Bendis is going to touch on anything that happened in it.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to pick that up this week.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Right, cool. Alrighty, so I think we're at Click of the Week.
Yes. Let me see what my click of the week is going to be.
I'm actually leaning towards one of the Hickman Mumbo Jumbo books because I like you. I enjoyed reading them this week. They actually move the stories, and just like you said earlier, things are afoot in those books. Things are developing. All that stuff is coming to a boiling point now, and it's kind of fun that we're getting there now.
And I'm going to choose the All New X-Men 27 just for the revelations.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right. So let me go with. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with It's a tie for me, man. Isn't that terrible? It's a tie. It's Avengers 29 and New Avengers 18 because of all the stuff that Hickman's developing in those two books. My co-clicks of the week.
Nice. Good picks. Now, having two is a good thing.
So what, out of your graphic novels, what would be your click of the week?
Well, I didn't finish it yet, but I would say, so I can't pick Rust even though I really want to. Mm-hmm. So what I'll do instead is I'll pick the thing I did read that sets up the new Rust graphic novel, which is the Free Comic Book Day Archaea hardcover.
Oh! I did not get that. I wanted the mouse guard. Oh.
Yeah, it had the one last year had a Rust story in it. This year had a Rust story in it.
Right.
So I picked this up and read the little Rust story in it, and it was really, really good, and it kind of sets up this third volume really well. So I'll make that my click of the week because I actually got to read that and finish it.
Nice. How's the mouse guard story?
I didn't read it.
You should read it. Mouse guard is awesome.
I'm not gonna down Mouse Guard. Because I read the last year Free Comic Day one and the one before that, but it wasn't hardcover the year before that.
Right.
So those converted me to Mouse Guard, be a fan. But I buy them in the collected editions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I just haven't. When I opened this the other night, I went right to the Rust story.
Gotcha.
And it's not because I don't like Mouse Guard. It's just because that's how much I really am enjoying Rust right now.
Excellent. I'll take that recommendation. I think I'm going to look into that. That's cool.
If you're out there, like Royden Lepp is the guy who writes and draws Rust.
Okay.
Follow him on Twitter. He's a really nice guy. I write him all the time. He's always like, dude, thanks for liking my book. It means a lot. He's really down to earth and cool. I would say if you ever get to go to a con where Archaea has a booth,
right.
They always do a buy one get one free sale at their booth at cons. So last year what I did was I bought Rust 1 and I got Volume 2 for free. So take advantage of that. Not that it's not worth buying each one,
Sure.
but obviously we're all on a budget. Like we're not millionaires. So
Right.
so
Absolutely.
so yeah, that's so if you ever see them at a con, pick it up at a con for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know when tickets go on sale for New York Comic Con. It's got to be soon. I am not going to blow it like last year and not get my
if you go, let me
pass.
know. I want to hang out with you.
Oh, awesome! Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think Omar and I will be there for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to be there, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been to every New York Comic Con except for last year. Last year's the one I missed because the tickets sold out on me, and I couldn't believe that they actually sold out.
Yeah. The place is a nightmare.
So but 2 years ago, on another podcast that Tim hosts, the Cold Slither podcast. Shout out to Classic Material, by the way. Another 24.
Another 24
is out this week. Catch it on Cold Slither podcast on Stitcher, and I think he's still doing iTunes. So,
yeah, it should still be on there.
Yeah, so shout out to Classic Material for bringing the Cold Slither podcast, kicking and screaming back. But Classic Materia and I met up at New York Comic Con 2 years ago, and we did a write-up and a podcast, and it was fun, so I want to do it for this show.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
If you guys hear an ambulance, that's just my ride coming.
They're coming to rescue you from the heat.
yeah, because I'm gonna drop over in a second.
Oh man. All right, so we won't, we'll let you get some refreshments and, get into some AC at some point.
No, there's no AC here. I have a fan aimed right at me. I'm surprised you guys don't hear it. I put it behind the mic, though.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. It's not helping.
Wow, I didn't know it was that bad. It's supposed to be like pouring rain here in New York City tomorrow. Torrential rain.
I'm going to go dance in it.
Oh, wow. All right.
So,
we can wrap this up this week.
Thank everyone for tuning in live who did. Dork Geekness and Saint Walker. Get your numbers right. Saint Walker 19. Where'd you go? 191 on Twitter.
Nice.
And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at TimDOGG98 and at the KLIQ Nation. Agent 70 is at Agent_70. Dirt, who couldn't join us tonight, make sure to go to his website, popculturenetwork.com, and follow him on Twitter at PCN_Dirt. Roddy Cat is at Roddy Cat and at News Nerds Need.
There you go.
And I want to thank Siike Donnelly for joining us tonight. You can follow him on Twitter at Exploding Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And Awesome Comics is at OSSM Comics, right?
That's right. And if I can throw in one more plug, I have a new podcast where I this shows you how nerdy I am. I interview actors playing fictional characters. So I interview like the first episode I interviewed Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And I just treat it like an actual interview, like he's a real person, and I ask about his love life and his job and everything like that. And then the most recent episode I interviewed was Ben Grimm, The Thing. I did Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I'm going to be talking to Barbara Gordon next week, and Cortana the week after that from Halo. So it's a new show on the X Comedy. You can follow them at the X, THEEX Comedy. And you can go to thexcomedy.com and listen to my show. It's called Real Conversations with Fake People.
Awesome. Real conversations. I can just imagine, the conversations about the Anti-Street Gang. I love Ben Grimm, by the way. One of my.
You got to listen to the new episode because the guy who plays him is first of all, he looks just like Ben Grimm, and
not
secondly,
like Michael Chiklis.
No, yeah, a little bit. Only taller and like more shaped like the Thing.
Okay.
And he's got the accent down. I mean, he does the Thing voice amazing.
Nice.
You'll love it.
Looking forward to it now.
Cool, but yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I love the show, and it means a lot that you guys wanted to have me back on to talk about my goofy comics and get to hate on Spider-Man with you. That was fun.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
So with that, we bid you adieu. We are the Comic Book Chronicles, and we are signing off.
Yay! Yay!